Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Seems like it's been a little while since I did an outhouse review, so today I think we're going to do one on the Benchmade Bushcraft. This is normally I do a lot of budget stuff, but this one's definitely not quite in the budget range. However, it's a really good knife. Right now, best I could find for some sitting in around 270, 280 bucks. So that's, if you can still find it to purchase, that's roughly what you'll be paying for currently. So I'll get the camera set up here. We'll just go ahead through for a basic outhouse review test here and show everybody the performance of this blade. This is a 9.5 inch long overall, about 4.5 inch blade, 3/16 inch stock. It is a premium steel, S30V, which is actually a pretty decent steel. I do like it. It has G10 handles, red handle scale liners. I'm not too crazy about these. Have the your screws or pins. They got the flared tubes. I would say under heavy abuse that there is a somewhat of a chance that would fail. So keep that in mind. For as expensive it is, that, you know, I would definitely prefer to have some kind of screws or bolts, something of that nature in this to hold slabs on. However, I've used it quite a bit and I've not had any trouble with it. Nothing's ever came loose on it. So we'll go ahead and find some wood here to start processing. I think we'll just start out with an atypical kind of thing. We'll just go ahead and start doing some feather sticking here. See how good she performs at that. It's actually been a little while since I've actually done much with this knife. Been maybe 4 or 5 months ago I actually took it out and used it. But I've been doing a lot of my own testing of different knives, especially some of the more budget friendly. So however, we're not having any trouble with feather sticking. So that definitely gets a passing grade. And we'll just see about getting really thin. There we go. Super thin. Now the benefit of that is if you're dealing with some wood that's a little still on the damp side, you got the time and patience to start making those ultra fine shavings like this. They will dry out fairly quick. So I mean, if you want, you can go full feather stick with that. I mean, it's obviously going to take a lot more time and precision. Or you can cut these from the stick, put them in your pocket. You know, you got some place to store them in a pack, whatever have you. And you can keep these really thin. You know, nice tight handful of that to help you start your fire with. And then that getting very dry ought to take a spark quite readily off a ferro rod. I don't think battening is going to be much of a challenge with this knife, just the experience I've had with it. So we got a decent little chunk of pine here. And mind you, this being a roughly 4.5 inch blade, you know, the biggest diameter I'd probably ever baton through there, if I had to, be, you know, around a 3 inch diameter piece of wood. That way I still have plenty of steel sticking out here to hit with a batten. So for that, we will retrieve our batten here. Let me slightly adjust the camera just a little bit. There we go. And again, this will definitely, breeze through this quite easily, so. Not going to be near as much wow factor with that, but it'll still be fine. Not too bad. We got us a piece of oak here. Now, typically, like I said, in general practices, if I'm out making a lot of things, there's very few things that I have to make out of a hardwood, so I'm typically going to use softer woods, but we'll just go ahead and carve into this oak here. That's actually making some pretty decently fine curls. Oh, it fell off my cut. That's all right. It certainly does not cut off there as easy as it does the pine. Alright. Starting to get a little bit of hair grew back, guys. However, alright, we got some more of that cardboard in here, so I figured why not go ahead and cut into that. And for most people, I'm assuming most people probably do know, but in case you don't, cardboard is actually quite tough on a knife's edge. And that'll let you know if you have somewhat decent edge retention, if you're cutting a lot of cardboard. Get a little bit more knife in there. Quite clean cut. If I can get the focus for y'all. Well, pretty short and simple. I mean, it's a pretty high quality knife. I mean, it's definitely not what I consider budget by any means. But I'll take a mention of the sheath. It didn't come with the leather dangler here. I think I came off the Benchmade Puko. I'm not crazy about this sheath. I mean, I definitely have gotten knives with worse sheaths, but for the price, I would have liked to seen that came with some good kydex, but this sheath ain't great. It has a plastic insert in there, which is good because that'll help the knife from damaging this very, very thin leather. It's got a fire steel holder on it. Yeah, so it's not great, but hey, it's a knife. You don't have to use the dangler. You can use this. But I've seen a lot of videos. People have these for any long time using this sheath. If they're belt carrying it without using the dangler, this intersection right here tends to rip quite readily. But I mean, this is very thin. But it is a sheath and it's usable. Just if anybody gets this knife, and if at all possible you can get an upgrade on the sheath, highly recommend it. So It rates pretty good. Like I said, its weight's pretty light, and I didn't think to look up the weight for you guys, but I don't think it's much over maybe 10 ounces. Uh, Holds an edge quite well, and it's just a real good size for bushcrafting tasks. And of course, the blade profile itself lends itself to that too. Uh, the Coke bottle shape handle, for most people, it's fairly comfortable. Reverse grip's not too bad, and actually this one has a good bit of room, and it fits if you have extra large hands. This knife will actually fit you quite well. This is very comfortable for the hand, because I can actually lock in my pointer finger and my pinky without smashing anything, so that's great. The only thing I found with this, and I do believe it's the size of my hands, the Coke bottle shape for me really needed to taper down here a lot more, because there's a bit of a void. And if I do use this knife for long extended periods of time, the way that fits in my palm, it actually does cause me a little bit of hand fatigue. But, you know, your hand may differ. I just think the only thing it's really missing is more meat. This part needs to be a little bit thicker. That swell could come down a little bit more for my hand, but that's a me problem. That may not be anybody else's problem. You have your scallops cut out in case you want to do some chest lever cuts. It's kind of handy. And it lends itself quite well for choking up here for skinning tasks. So, like I said, it's a really good blade. It is a bit more on the expensive side, but if anybody is interested in, especially if you're just interested in that product, I can say from the time I've had it and used it for just general bushcraft tasks, it's held up quite well. Like I said, the only thing I'd be careful with is a lot of battening, or at the very least, some intense battening, because I'm not too great about those flared tubes in there. But with that, hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you very kindly for watching. You guys keep continuing to like and comment, and everybody else watching the video, if you're new, please subscribe. It'll help grow the channel out and make it a little more easier for me to do the videos. So see y'all in another video.